Hello, hello. Second attempt because Paul had to talk and ask me.
Latest news.
No, I just told him if his voice is in the video this time, I'm not going to delete it, even if the video is only a few seconds long. So, anyway, I wanted to talk about this amazing building in Brownwood, Texas that I saw a couple of months ago. An amazing, amazing, amazing building. Maybe half a year ago, I saw that on the internet because I was browsing through real estate and churches for sale and stuff like that. It's just a hobby. It's like a fantasy utopia idea that I thought if there will be a building that is just reasonably priced enough and amazing enough, maybe Paul will buy it. But apparently, doesn't matter how amazing the building is and how cheap it is. He's not going to buy it because he views it as a liability. And then he thinks, look at the property tax that we have to pay every year on it. And I'm not going to be able to use it as a therapy help center. That's really what I want to do. And that's his worst nightmare for me, to create a therapy help center and have him involved in it, and he views this as a complete liability of epic proportions, where there will be homeless people coming in, they're going to destroy everything, then they're going to sue you for everything you have, and then who knows what they might claim and accuse you of. So it would be a complete disaster. He will never be on board with this. But I will still reserve myself the right to dream about it, because I feel like that is my mission. And maybe when I'm really, really, really old, and who knows, I don't want to get really old. I don't like that idea, particularly not being sick and all of that. That's not a good way of living. But let's just hypothetically assume that I get a grip on my life and I get a grip on my physical health, and I'm already dealing with my mental health very, very intensively. I'm getting there. I am moving forward. Okay, I really am. I have to tell myself that, so that I don't lose hope and get discouraged about my aspirations and what I want to do with my life, you know. Even sometimes having 10 years of just being in bed, even if it seems really, really bleak and hopeless, and it has the outward appearance of clinical depression and all of this, and maybe it is, but whatever it is, whether it's clinical depression or it's just like a recuperation phase in people's lives, it is important too. And there's not one day wasted on this course, on that trajectory, because even that is a movement forward. And a lot of inwardness type of people know that. They are very, very well aware that this is an important inwardness work, and it is movement forward, and it is therapy in progress, and it is progressing forward. Okay, so never get discouraged if you are. And the reason why I'm in bed is a lot of times is nowadays is because of that neuropathy, that sciatic nerve inflammation that I had in October and November. That was really, really the worst I've ever had. The worst physical pain I've ever had in my entire life. And Paul read on the internet that a lot of people don't recover from it. And a lot of people committed suicide because the doctors didn't know how to help them. Now, this is really infinitely tragic. So, for anyone who has sciatic nerve pain, this is real important for your life. And the Therapy Help Center and all of these subjects are all tying into it. Very, very important. I'm gonna give you a list of 10 massive foundational points of life improvement right now that you have to do. I'm gonna start with the highest priority. The very first one is eliminate all stress from your life. Like, really get rid of all stress. That means psychological stress. That means moving away from an abusive partner or parents or family people, whoever that, or religious people, whoever that is. Okay? And oftentimes people don't even know what abusive means. Okay? Abusive can be anything from physical abuse to toxic psychological abuse. And if you meditate, listen into your body, your body will tell you that, okay, what you need and what you don't need and who you don't need to be with. Listen really intensively. That's the foundation of healing. And get a lot of sleep, and do not get woken up by an alarm clock. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. That causes nerve inflammation. It really does. People have died from this. I'm not making this up. This is real intense. I can't. It made me crazy when I was going to school to be woken up by an alarm clock and having to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. In Germany, oftentimes it was still dark outside. I get to school. The first hour of classes, it's still dark outside in the winter time. I mean, depressing and awful, and you shouldn't be waking up when it's still dark outside. So that's totally unnatural also. And never wake up from an alarm clock. Most people will already not be on board with this because they say, oh no, I have to get things done. I have to go to work. I have a job. And you have to quit that job, my dear. Okay? It is the people, the very people that didn't make these lifestyle changes. It's those people that ended up with debilitating pain. Trust me, it's level 10 pain. I would say it goes up to level 30, but they only give you a scale of 1 to 10, obviously, but it's off the charts pain. It really is. And it was so bad, the pain, and it was persisting. It went on for like hours, and I thought, I can't take it any further. I cannot do it any further. I thought of killing myself. I have a serrated knife at the other house. That looks real bad, that knife. I mean, real scary. Like Freddy Krueger slasher movie, okay? And I thought of taking that knife to my throat. That's how bad that pain was. And those people that are not willing to make any of these lifestyle changes that I'm talking about, if they don't do that, in order to keep your job, right, then that job will do you in. I don't want to have to say it. I mean, it's like if the ship is sinking, okay, you're not going to be thinking about your job anymore. If your body is inflamed, the job is one of the major things that caused that illness in the first place, and you have to quit that job. Okay, there's plenty of people that moved into a van and that are enjoying their lives now. Okay, they don't have very much, but they're enjoying their lives, and they have to put the ego aside. Okay, so if the ship is sinking, does the ego still have something to say there? I don't think so. Okay, and that's a fact. So you have to wrap your mind around the priorities. And meditation is very important for that. That's the foundation. To even understand what's important, what your body is calling for. And every illness is a scream for help from your body. And you need to listen to that. This is infinitely important. I have to lie down now because I cannot sit for a prolonged time, because although I managed with holistic means to completely get rid of the pain, and I'm infinitely grateful to the Blue God for that. Infinitely grateful to the infinite cosmos. And I'll get into the steps in a moment, but it is the most important thing. You have to lie down. You cannot be sitting anymore. Sitting on the computer at your job or at home. Okay, you can't do it anymore. You have to lie down. You have to get a pillow or 2 pillows. You put your computer on those and you lie on your back. Use your stomach muscles a little bit, rocking back and forth. Important. So you don't want to let the stomach muscles get too soft. And do everything in that lying down position. You can also be lying on the side like I am a lot of times. I am lying down on either side or on my back when I sleep, and also when I'm on the computer. And off and on, of course, in order to do sewing, I have to sit. Or when I eat, I sit. Or when I drink a tea, I sit in the recliner chair. But not for longer than half an hour at a time. Okay, so this is very important. Very, very important. This is what saves my life. Okay, I have to do it like this. I can't even sit in the passenger seat anymore. It's that bad. Okay. So, but I made all of these lifestyle changes because I had no other choice. So, and the nerve calmed down. Okay. It's amazing. And then the nerve thanked me, actually. And it's like the nerve is talking to me, and it makes these bloop, 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 bloop sounds inside of my hips. Bloop, 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 bloop. That's the sciatic nerve saying thank you. Bloop, 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 bloop. It's little like it kind of triggers some of the muscle fibers, and they do dup, 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 dup. But that's the healing process, okay, when that happens. Also, when it tickles, That's the healing process, okay? And do the lifestyle shifts as fast as possible, immediately. Don't wait any longer. Don't do it. Don't let this go any longer. Very important. A lot of people apparently are suffering from sciatic leg nerve inflammation. This is happening. It's happening because of this sitting position on the computer. Okay, we have not evolved to go into, you have seen that Darwinian schematic of the ape standing up and becoming a straight and tall human. And then there are some of those drawings where the human goes back into the ape position and then sitting on the computer in that ape position. So, well, that's not the evolution we should be going, and that's not the evolution we are going, obviously, and we have not evolved for that. And not even an ape or a chimpanzee has evolved to do this, to sit on the computer for 8 hours per day. My brain always reverses things. No one has evolved to sit on the computer for 8 hours per day. Okay, that's a fact. Because sitting like this, we are literally sitting on that sciatic leg nerve that should be free and unobstructed at all times. Chiropractic work is not efficient enough to heal this. This is a fact. I know this for sure. Okay, you can do chiropractic work and gymnastics and all kinds of things and yoga. It's all good, but that's not enough. You can't go back into that sitting position. Okay, you just can't do it, and not even for any length of time if you're in an acute state. Okay, you cannot do it. You have to go into lying position, okay, and you cannot have any stress at all. No stress, no yelling, no fighting, no negativity on the internet, no fake news propaganda, the division causing fake news, none of this anymore, okay? None of the negativity, none of the violent movies, horror movies, none of that anymore. This is my doctor's order for people with sciatic leg nerve. And so I already touched on 3 points now. So I'm going down the list now with this. I mentioned the most important points. Okay, absolutely no stress. Get off the chair, get in bed. Stretch out your back and your hips, okay? And do things in that position. You can, okay? If you are cleaning the house, you are walking around. That's okay. Then the back and the hips are loosened, okay? Don't be sitting anymore. And if it gets better, then you can, if you've healed the pain completely, then you can sit here and there for not longer than half an hour. Okay, that's my recommendation. So I had to learn this the brutal way. So, what else? No stress, no horror movies, no negativity, no fights, no terrible partners, no alarm clock, quit the job. These are all covered in 3 points only. This is all covered under the topic of no stress. Okay, so, and then no more strain on the sciatic leg nerve. Lying down, doing things in a lying position. Very, very important. Drink a lot of water. Drink a lot of herbal tea. Herbal tea is real beneficial. valerian root has helped saved my life. Valerian root capsules, okay, and Pieris japonica and rhododendron tea. I drank that a lot every day in massive amounts, even way too much. I drank way too much where I almost passed out again. So I have to be careful with this. I can't use this like an anesthetic, because then also the heart can stop. So that has so for other people, if you start on rhododendron or Pieris japonica, those are listed as toxic plants. They have alkaloids in them that can slow down the heart rate. It can cause motor neurons, also neurological problems. So that has to be taken on really, really cautiously, to say the least. But like for a beginner, one leaf of Pieris japonica, chew that really, really good, or put it into a cup with boiling water on it. It's perfectly okay. That 1 cup per day, only with 1 leaf in it. It's perfectly okay. And then you can gradually go up in the amount. But don't go too high with this. So obviously, for a beginner, 5 leaves could also already be too much, where it could slow down the heart rate way down to 50. So no, you don't want to do this. You can barely walk when that happens. So, but never do a concoction with a whole twig and with 30 leaves on it. Which I have. I've been through all of this. That's why I know all of this in detail. I've been through those harrowing experiences with being completely doped up on Pieris japonica, and a massive hallucination in the living room. In the middle of the living room, a sun opened up. A flickering sun, and in the middle of the sun was the eye of the blue god. And that was the portal, okay? So that was the portal to ascension. And the blue god says, I thought you weren't ready for this yet. And I thought, oh, okay, did I make a mistake here? Oh. And then I knew, it's the Pieris japonica, not the blueberry leaves. That I made a concoction with all of those. They are all growing together at this garden area on this property here. That was in 2013. And I ended up in the ER. Not good. But I was only there for an hour, and I shook myself off as soon as I could. And the doctor was like, well, this looked to me like an overdose. I think, and I said, bullshit. I didn't say that. I was thinking that. I just said, no, I take full responsibility for this. And it was just accidental. And it wasn't really fully accidental, so it was like a Russian roulette sort of thing going on. I had already had the feeling that this Pieris japonica was probably not safe to take in that amount. But yeah, I've been in these mental states many times, like this mental state of like almost like a blind frenzy, sort of like Russian roulette blind frenzy. I've done all kinds of, when I was in that mental state. One time I jumped off a balcony, someone's balcony in Germany, and my body My body has the last word. My body always does something to prevent this plunge, literally, So both of my hands grabbed onto the edge of the balcony, and my two boyfriends at that time were pulling me back up. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And always when I'm in some kind of mental pressure, and I was, because of the two boyfriends, and I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and I was torn between them, and so when I get into this, I get into too much stress from the outside. My mind goes into this panic mode, and then I get into this Russian roulette type of mode. It's really bad, really awful. So that's what Tony Robbins was talking about. He said, you must figure it out in your life where you avoid those situations as much as you can, where you must avoid being overwhelmed. Okay, and it's been a life journey for me, lifelong journey. And I have learned so much in this house here, particularly ever since we bought this house in 2010. So this house here has taught me more than any other place on earth, and I've been in many different places on earth. I've even met a draconian, a reptile, one time. I am not making this up. I have stood face to face with a light green, just like my beautiful purse, this light green, shiny and scaled reptile. A reptile teenager. I don't know how I knew this. It was a boy. I don't know how I knew this. And he smirked at me because that's all he knew how to do, because he doesn't know anything else. He evolved that way. So he smirked and smirked and smirked. Grinned. He wasn't gonna hurt me, but he was making fun of me being in a fever delirium. So everyone else, myself included at that time, brushed it off, of course, as a hallucination. Okay, that's a fever that caused that. No, the fever disabled the discrimination ribbon in the brain, which is a filter that filters out information away from your prefrontal cortex, okay, from your entire cortical region. And that's how we don't see more stuff than we see. If this was disabled, and it gets disabled through fever delirium, it gets disabled through a plant like Pieris japonica, where you can see a portal suddenly. Okay, all of these things are there, but we don't see it normally because of the discrimination ribbon, which is a filter. Okay, so that's what happened. Stuff is there, actually, but we don't perceive it. And if we would constantly be perceiving it, we would be running around like our minds were constantly on fire. It would be overwhelming. It would be too much. Okay. So that's why we have this filter in the brain that filters out the ghosts. Okay, the ghosts of the world. And I'm no longer afraid of ghosts. No. So this is phenomenal, because I have come so far in my life with this. I have been terrified of ghosts for most of my life, even way into my 50s. And it was through Jiddu Krishnamurti, that is Gautama Buddha. That's the Shankaracharya, okay, the carrier of the Shankaracharya, the carrier of the Shankara. Shankara was one of the incarnations of Gautama Buddha. Jiddu Krishnamurti was another one. The Jiddu Karya, okay. Krishna Ji, they called him. So, and Krishna is another one of those incarnations. Lord Vishnu is another one. And Lord Vishnu was actually a blue ET, I believe, possibly an Andromedan, that came to India. They came to India on a mothership. And I think some of those motherships, I thought about this today in length, they may have deliberately been built to look like like a mountain. Like a natural mountain pyramid, slightly irregularly shaped and gray, so that in case they do land on another planet, maybe on a planet that has already some beings on there that may be terrified of a mothership. So because of that, they built the motherships like that, or that comet or more. Okay, that's another ET spaceship. I believe that very strongly, because they measured the speed and it was suddenly speeding up. So a regular comet does not do that. Okay, so that's pretty obvious. And that comet spaceship was not interested in planet Earth. They just passed by. They didn't see anything of value here that they needed. I don't blame them. But they built those to make them look like comets or meteorites or meteors, or just rock formations, mountain tops or something. For example, Mount Roraima in Venezuela, at the edge of Venezuela, there is this amazing plateau that is really high, but it's a completely level top that spans miles. So how did that come about? Why is that it's like a mothership, okay, with a level top. And when I first saw it, that was even before I studied the UFOs. When I first saw that on the internet, I had this funky feeling. That doesn't look natural. That looks like, what if there's something inside? What if there are beings living in there? What if this is like several high-rise buildings tall with floors inside? Maybe windows even that they have obscured. Who knows? That's the feeling I had. So my brain goes all over the place. But I want to go back to the healing the sciatic leg nerve. So you have to drink herbal teas. Chamomile tea is real important. Take valerian root. Take as the least amount of pain medication, particularly the one that is addictive, the pharma-based. Okay, get off that stuff as soon as possible. That's what I did. because I did not want that to ruin my liver and my kidneys. Okay, I was horrified of taking that. But then again, in the beginning, I thought, oh, what if what if I'm gonna be ousting myself anyway? So then it wouldn't matter, right? So you have to look at the priorities. You don't want to be in pain, obviously. So, yeah, being in pain for a prolonged time, that's not good. That's not good for anyone. That can be very nerve-wracking and very, very stressful, and that's not good for the endocrinological system either. But there are natural means to heal that and to calm down the nerves and to heal the pain down, okay, all the way down, to get rid of the pain completely. So Pieris japonica, rhododendron, and they have to be taken in very, very small amounts. And valerian root and chamomile is a very, very potent pain reliever. And willow bark, which they made aspirin out of, but they isolated the component, which is not good for us. It's never good to isolate a component in a plant. You have to take the whole plant substance, as Rudolf Steiner said. He discussed this in length. Why this is so important? Because the whole plant substance, as it is in nature, even if we drink tea from it, it's still in its whole plant substance. It gives us all of the different bioflavonoids and minerals and vitamins and nutrients that come with it, with the medicinal components, and that prevent the medicinal components from causing any kind of addiction or lopsidedness in the body or habituation of whatever could be endocrinological. You don't want to create a habituation where your natural and endorphin creating system slows down, even if it's not like a street drug type of addiction. That's what the pharma drugs for depression, which I used to be on a long time ago, that's what they were actually made to make people dependent on it, to make people's endocrinology dependent on it, and to loosen up, to make the natural endorphin and serotonin development in the body, to make that lose its self-creating power, okay, like losing a muscle or something. They deliberately created this that way because they wanted people to be dependent on that stuff. That's how evil these people are, okay? Keep this in mind at all times. YouTube might delete this video again. They have done it before. They have deleted a video in which I addressed the virus situation and what these pandemic vaccines have done to people. I addressed it, okay? This is very evil, okay? I have to be careful how I word myself, or they will delete my video. Okay, so that's how much leverage they have. That's how much bribe leverage they have on social media platforms. It's unbelievably sad, all of this. Google, which owns YouTube, they used to be ethical a long time ago when they first started out. And then they sold They literally sold out. It's very sad, all of that. They sold to the corporate mafia. They sold their soul. That was originally pro-earth and pro-Buddhism and all of that. They even had Buddhist monks on there. They sold it to the corporate agenda mafia, and then the wrong people got a hold of it, and they work hand in hand with the Rothschilds and Lockheed Martin and so on. The whole list, Klaus Schwab, you name it. I mean, it's incredibly sad. So, but again, if you want to heal the sciatic leg nerve, you have to be informed, but don't dwell on the stuff. Okay, you need to meditate on it. And Eckhart Tolle, I get his quotes on X, and that's always true. Even if things are turbulent in reality, the Buddhists always used to say, this too shall pass. But obviously we have to be informed enough to make informed decisions on who we vote in. Okay. And so let's not vote for the Biden criminals anymore. Okay. Like, hello. Does that make sense? Let's vote for the people that have proven to us that they are capable, such as Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Okay, they have proven to us that they are extremely capable of reversing the damage that had been done by the Biden criminals. And Donald Trump, in his first 4 years, had already, the list of accomplishments is so humongous, including an animal rights bill that no one before him signed. No Democrat even signed that. Bill Clinton didn't sign it. Okay? And Donald Trump signed it right away. He said that's unacceptable. Cruelty to animals is unacceptable. And so that was huge. That was huge on the list for PETA and for Wayne Purcell. Okay. Ingrid Newkirk and Wayne Purcell, those are the top animal rights people in the world, and they are the absolute best, and they are uncompromising, and they are God level, like Donald Trump and Elon Musk. We need them in the White House, really desperately. Okay, they should be in the White House. So he signed that. He signed a state park protection bill. He signed all kinds of things. He signed to shut down the pipeline in Yellowstone, the Keystone pipeline. They shut it down. What did the Biden criminals do? As soon as they got in office, they opened it back up. Okay, for more eco-destruction, of wetland destruction, frogs being destroyed, and so on. Yeah. Donald Trump protected all of them from that pipeline. Most people don't know it. Okay, the vast majority of people, I get a lot of idiotic emails from some animal rights and environmental groups, obviously fishy ones, that are not serious, that are ranting against Donald Trump. And I always write back and I say, did you know that Donald Trump has done all of this for animal rights and the environment? I bet you don't. Okay. But they don't even care. They seems like they don't even read my response. I just end up blocking them and getting rid of all of those, on social media too, and in my email server. I don't need fishy fake groups. I'm signed up with Ingrid Newkirk and Wayne Purcell. Those are the best. Okay, those are the best animal rights people. I'm on board with Greta Thunberg. She's a real environmentalist. Paul and I helped an environmental group here locally for 8 months. It was a lot of work. They got a $50,000 grant because of us. Then they got another $50,000 match grant from the government because of us. So that's something to feel accomplished with. Okay, that makes me feel good, even though no one ever said thank you. No one ever said thank you to us. But Paul and I, we thanked ourselves. So, and then it turned out that even that local stewardship group that was run by a grant writer. A grant writer. Okay, that's all she was in there for. Okay. Yeah, but anyway, I don't wanna get too much into the negativity. But we need to be very, very crystal clear. Most people are greedy. It is what it is, okay? And if people don't want to be called out on being greedy, then they need to work on that, right? They need to not be greedy anymore. If you don't want to be called greedy, then don't do greedy things anymore. That's all there is to it. Don't run an environmental group as a grant writer with the only agenda of gathering more grants from the government or donations. And this lady, she didn't even care if the land became polluted. I don't want to get into it now because it's a long story, but I was so mad. You cannot imagine. But I saved an entire wetland area from that lady. Later on, when it dawned on me what she's doing, I had the chance to save an entire wetland area. Thank goodness. No one thanked me, not even Paul, but I thanked myself. Nicola, you did a good job. Yes, thank you, Nicola. That's good. But it doesn't matter. The earth is thanking me. Mother Earth is thanking me for that. And that's what matters, okay? That I saved that entire wetland and bird sanctuary. My gosh. So, but anyway, I can save you from the sciatic leg nerve if you do what I'm telling you to do. You also have to become a whole food vegan. I know you're probably going to protest and you're probably going to turn the video off by now. But you have to do it if you want to save your life, okay? You have to do it. And you have to quit white sugar. So I mentioned several points now already. You need to rescue an animal from an animal shelter instead of giving birth. I know that many people don't agree with me. Elon Musk would not agree with me on that. Because he thinks that the Good Samaritans are becoming extinct. And yeah, it is tragic. Okay, Paul Watson said it too. But there are animals in the animal shelter that would otherwise be ending up on death row, and they are waiting for a mama. They're waiting for a good family. That's your chance to come there and rescue an animal and give that animal a real wonderful paradise, a good life with unconditional love and patience, and treat that animal like your own biological baby. That is what I pray for every night when I go to bed. Every night. That the blue God protects and rescues all innocent beings. Every night, and I often cry when I say that. So, all of these steps, very important. Okay, sleep long hours, as long as possible. And put earplugs in and put a sock over your eyes. A clean sock, not a cheesy one. A clean sock over your eyes. That's all you have to do. To prevent light from getting into your iris when you're sleeping. It's very important for your nerves. So, what else? Keep your house clean. Very important. Keep everything extremely clean and hygienic. Kitchen, bathroom, very important. Okay. Change your bedding material. Very important, all of this. Sunlight. Get sunlight if you can. Okay, I got sunlight today. I was outside on the lawn, grounding. You have to be grounding your body to Mother Earth. You have to get the grounding radiation, the grounding electricity from Mother Earth. That is real science, okay? You can buy grounding sheets, okay? There's the earthing store of the man who started this, and then lots of generic products that other people copy them, but he lets them copy it. We got a grounding pillow from China, which was only like $20. It even had a wristband that is also grounding with its own cord. I'm using that on my pillow at the other house. I don't use it on the wrist, but I have it anchored to my pillow, and I put my head on it. So it's basically just touching my ear and my cheek, and the grounding energy goes through this. And I can see the difference right away. It makes you fall asleep 10 times faster. And it heals inflammation also. Very, very. I found out about all of this while I was doing research on the internet in regards to how to heal the sciatic leg inflammation naturally. It's very important. I heard about earthing a long time ago, and I've been doing earthing outside in the garden ever since. But obviously 1 hour of grounding earthing on Mother Earth, that is good, but that may not be enough grounding. There may not be enough grounding energy going through your body, particularly when you're sleeping and you're not grounded. That is not very good. So you should be grounded while you're sleeping. So that's another very important point to make. Video is getting long. All of this is incredibly important information that I'm discussing here. And the Therapy Help Center. I saw this amazing building in Brownwood, Texas. That was for sale. I think it was just like $400,000 for a humongous hospital-sized building and property. Like several acres with this, like 100,000 square foot on the inside, with so many rooms and halls and like a gathering community hall where people sit, and even sitting in a lodge, and I mean incredible, with chandeliers and all of this. I wonder if there's a ghost in there. That's why it's cheap. Or I wonder what happened there. There's something terrible may have happened there. Who knows? They're not disclosing that for obvious reasons. But if we would travel there, we could ask locals what happened there at that old church. But I am very drawn to places like this for some reason. Absolutely eerily drawn to that. And I would love to buy it. And if I had the money, if I had my own fund, I would be very tempted to buy it. Just sight unseen, I would just make an offer without even going there, and get the property, and just so that I have it, But I know we can't get it, and I told other people about it since then, and one guy was very interested in this. One guy from Brownwood. And so maybe he bought it, so who knows, doesn't matter, but that would have been an amazing therapy help center place for me to open up a therapy help center, the first one for people to come there for free, a community center where everyone can come, where we have a group therapy from 5 to 8 every single day. That is my utopia. That is my dream of the future. I don't know if I'm going to live long enough to make that happen, but I am sticking to this dream. I will never let go of that dream, because I feel like that's my mission, that I came into this existence, and all that suffering that I've been through was not in vain. It was school. That is the school of the energy healer, okay? And you make it through, you make it through that ego dissolution funnel. You come out the other end. And then you have wisdom, and you can help people with that wisdom and with that inner knowledge, and with the exoteric and the esoteric and inner knowledge, okay, with what I learned, and with everything I've learned also internalized and understood and processed bottom up as well, and completely grown with it, and thoroughly integrated, but in a reason based, not in a dogmatic way. Okay? Very important. To really understand something. And it takes a lot of personal experience to add to that, to really make that what you learn in theory come to full fruition. And then we can make something happen. We can turn the world into a paradise if we can create a therapy help center, or help other people get inspired to create a therapy help center that's free of charge. You start with a community center, okay, where sane people go, people that are reason-based, people that are not insane, okay. So I don't even know the percentage of insane people anymore. There could be more insane people than sane people in the world. I mean, looks almost like that. Particularly in San Francisco and LA. So, but for those people that are insane, the Blue God agrees. 1111. I'm not making this up. I'm not lying about this. The Blue God agrees. For the insane people, we have to have a closed therapy center. So in the beginning, I thought about 4 different therapy help centers for the different cluster mental illnesses, but that makes it too complicated. We have to have 2 therapy help centers, 1 community center and 1 prison, but not in a conventional prison sense anymore. No more prison cells. Okay, we have to convert every prison, whether that's a high security prison or a detention center or juvenile hall, whatever the people have. Okay, or insane asylum, any of these sanatoriums, if you want to call it, that already exist, they need to be converted into closed therapy help center. You can call it psych ward center, but I think closed therapy help center sounds better. And it will be much more than psych ward or prison. Okay, those will be real rehabilitation centers for people. And we will use robots. We have to use robots, guard robots and service robots, as well as people that work there together with the robots, and also therapist robots in the future, and human therapists, of course. It needs to be a very comprehensive approach to this, to deal with people that are not well at all. Okay, so whether they are suffering from cluster A, cluster B, cluster C, whatever group they belong to, whatever mental illness group they belong to, whether they're violent or schizoid, it doesn't matter. People that are a danger to themselves or others, or all the people that are damaging Tesla cars, all of those need to be rounded up and put into an insane asylum like that, okay, into a closed therapy help center. And then we can really make the world a better place. Okay, so take care. Video is really long.